your school's still going to retain a population of students in the sports medicine world, and you're going to keep your ability to teach kids how to be an athletic trainer.
Yeah, and I mean, our plan, and now this is, unless the state law suddenly we change that too, which everybody I've told you said, no, we're not doing that.
Correct.
Unless that changes, then really it's going to go back to really what you came from, Daniel. It's going to be more of we're a Texas state license program. We're going to make sure you have the academic requirements you need for that. More particularly, it's going to be you're going to be working with this licensed athletic trainer and multiple licensed athletic trainers, so you get this great experience, and then you're qualified to sit for the state exam. And then you took the option, because when you graduated, we weren't accredited at that point in time.
Correct.
So if you wanted to get your NATA certification, you, like you did, had to go to an accredited entry-level master's program, which you did, and I've had many of my students do, but I've had even more that haven't and are practicing athletic trainers right now in the state of Texas.
And I run into a ton of them at GHATS every year.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I think we'll see more of that. I think it'll go back to the boat we were in prior to this last year, that we have an undergraduate program, but if you want to be NATA certified, which is great, then, except the difference will be is, instead of you having to go off to Texas Tech, you can stay at Howard Payne. And we're looking at incentives to do that, like maybe your senior year can count as your first year as master's. We'll work all that out. But you won't have to run off to Texas Tech again. All right. Not that there's anything wrong with the Texas Tech program. Great program.
I love Texas Tech.
Yeah,
Dr. Taylor
program.
was awesome.
Yeah.
But no, everything has been weird so far.
Yeah.
The position statements, the overall direction of things, the change into the master's program. It's been a ton of information.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's not been enough information. It's like, here are the ideas we have, here's the direction we're going.
Right.
But then there's been not a ton of explanation about all of that.
Yeah.
So then everybody's kind of run wild with it.
I think, as I've seen it, so this is my opinion. I think especially in SWATA, especially in Texas. I think we can count our Arkansas brothers in on this too. We felt the loss of control. As a practicing athletic trainer, I think there's been a feeling from the practicing athletic training community, especially in SWATA, of things are happening beyond my control in my profession. Where's my voice in this? Now, having said that, I think the Strategic Alliance, or whatever they're calling themselves, sorry, it's a Star Wars reference. So KD, the BOC, and the NATA, I think they've tried to do a lot of town halls and tried to do informational. I just don't think it's hit to the level that our expectations are. And so I think a lot of them have this fear that our profession's running away from us. Where did my say come from? And I think there's some legitimacy to that. I mean, anytime as a professional body, as members of a professional organization, we have the right to feel that way. And we have the right to stand up in meetings and say, we don't like what's going on here. And we have a right to vote on some aspects that I think that's been another issue that people have had about where did my vote go on this. I honestly, in talking to the boards and talking to the BOC and talking to Katie and talking to all these organizations that are, at least in the NATA and some of the Katie, our elected representation, their goal really is to improve the profession. They're not trying to kill athletic training. I've heard this really doomsday prophecies that have been coming out there. I don't think it's that. I think they're trying to really advance it. And I think one of the things that we in Texas and Arkansas, kind of our Arkansas brothers and sisters in too, have to remember is that everywhere in the nation, we've got it the best. If you look at salaries, if you look at laws, so our governance, what we're able to do, our scope of practice, we've got the most freedom, we've got the best salaries. So we're not seeing some of the pressures that some of our fellow athletic trainers are seeing in other states, and that the NATA is trying to address that as a whole too. So while we might not be feeling this huge press, I think, because I really think things are going really good in Texas right now for the athletic training population. I think, for our profession, it's really good. Every one of my students are graduating and getting jobs. And I can't ask for more
that's
than
a very
that.
good thing.
Yeah. It's not that way across the nation. I think the NATA and BOC and Katie are trying to address that. I think that we would like to have had more of a voice in that, and we're kind of in the position now is now we're dealing with it. And how we're going to deal with it, I think there's some fear in that. I think some people are, and I hate to say, but panicking on some of this.
Kind of
And I think it's going to be fine. I think we're going to be good. I know we're going to be good in Texas. Remember, we have our own laws. We have our associations. Why it's important to be involved in the TSATA and groups like the GHATS, and why it's important to stay involved on whatever level that you feel like you make an impact, because it does. It makes a huge difference. We still have all that. Nobody's taking that away from us. And that's kind of the Texan philosophy, isn't it? We're going to be doing what we want to do, and by gum, one or the other. And I think we're going to see that continue.
All right. All right. Very cool. So, well, thank you very much for the info.
Sure, glad to.
And by all means, I'll invite you back every year to GHATS.
Yeah.
Because it's where I went to school. But at the same time, come back whenever.
Oh, yeah, we love it. We love coming down here.
So
It's a great time.
Thank you very much.
Sure thing. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.